If you can beat Mike Norvell 3 years in a row, I'll include you in my will.
No.
You're being sarcastic. I can sit. Pinnacle greatness.
What was that again? What was that again, Joe? I'm trying to compliment.
Because I know you're being sarcastic.
I'm not.
I will be throwing up the U. Believe it or not, I will be actually doing this.
So before you watch this video, I wanted to take just a quick moment and provide some extra details so you know exactly what's happening here, because otherwise it could be a little confusing. So Joel is a longtime viewer on my channel. He's very active. You guys are probably familiar with him from the comment section and the live chat during the streams, but he's a big Florida State fan. Now, at the end of the day, I'm ride or die Miami Hurricanes. I bleed orange and green, but I also do just enjoy hanging out with people that are fellow college football fans. So I told Joel, you know, hey, if you're ever in town, hey, hit me up. Let's chop it up for a little bit. Let's hang out. And it just so happens that he had some business in Tennessee. So he drove 7 or 8 hours to come up here, handled some business. And then we hung out for an evening. We went out and grabbed a bite to eat, talked football. He gave me some things. I gave him some things, some gifts. I did a video on it. You can check that out if you want to. I posted it a few days ago. But what we did is we sat in the car afterwards before he was about to head back, and we just wanted to talk college football for a little bit. And this was unplanned. The idea wasn't to film a video or anything. But as we started talking, I said, you know what, are you cool if I just set the camera up on the dash and it just records us while we talk about this? You know, maybe it'd be cool, kind of podcast style. Maybe I use it later, maybe I don't. And I decided that I think I should upload it just because there were some good conversations during this. So that's what this is. If you hear some pitter patter, it was raining outside. We're just chilling in the car. This is unedited. If that's not your style, not your thing that you like to watch or listen to, it's okay. But I'm telling you, there are some really interesting conversations that go down in this video. So you might, if you're a Florida State fan, you're going to like it. If you're a Miami fan, you're going to like it. At one point, he's even trying to convince me to give Miami more wins than I'm willing to give them this season. So there's some really fun conversations that go down. Joel, I appreciate everything that you do, my man. Yeah, you guys just check this out.
You doubted me when I told you it is the largest brick structure in the nation and second only in the world to the Great Wall of China.
And I Googled it, and
you
weren't lying.
And you know, it's just, I don't know why you wouldn't believe me. Like, Florida State people don't ever lie. You should know that.
Yeah, I just, out of all the...
You're lying if you tell me that it's not cool. Now, Uncle Lou or Aunt Lou or whatever he's called talks about this fake Indian guy going out and he's got a flaming toothpick. You know it's the coolest thing in the world when that horse runs out and drives that down. And the tradition, do you know this one? A little trivia here. How come he normally plants it from the horse, but at the Florida game, he gets off the horse and holds it up? Because back then, that was a symbol we're going to war. He only does it, you'll notice it, I think it's only for the Florida game, but he'll go off the horse and holds it up, then drives it down. And while we're doing that, Sebastian's over there pulling his beak, you know, east to west over and over. You got to look at that. There's got to be a part of you that goes, man, I wish we had something. Now, granted, I like his name. Sebastian is a cool name. Sebastian translated means 0 ACC championships. I looked it up.
I have not heard that.
Yes, you can look it up.
I'd have to verify that.
But Sebastian itself sounds cool.
Has your mascot ever been arrested, though?
Oh, define arrested, like the actual guy that plays the part arrested, or as the Indian guy arrested?
No, like at the game, like put in handcuffs.
I have Sebastian being handcuffed at the 4th and 14 game, and I didn't know why. I thought they were, of course, cutting up. You know, did he really do something, or are they? Or is that a tradition? Like, if you lose, do they cuff him?
No, whoever plays Sebastian has to be like super edgy and trash talker. Like, you gotta play the part. There's a certain type of person you have to be Sebastian.
But why? What's with the bird which I think that's the same bird that delivers babies, right?
Not quite.
Yeah,
no.
I think you'll see Sebastians in commercials with babies in cloth. They deliver them or whatever. But I never understood what's with the bird and a hurricane.
The ibis is the last one to leave. Yeah.
I always thought it was Imus, like Imus in the morning. So it's ibis.
Ibis.
I'm learning something. Ibis.
Yeah.
Okay. So Sebastian the ibis. Okay, say that 5 times fast. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, don't make the mistake I did of the very first diss track I ever made. I said ibis instead of ibis. And I said ibis because I tried to make it rhyme with Adidas.
Did the fan base stone you?
Yeah.
All 8 people threw a rock at you.
What about that, you know that little thing in my intro when I'm like falling back on the horse?
Okay, if you will, see that's the thing, if you would be honest about it, what you got angry, the horse does not fall. If you go back and look at it, it was the Orange Bowl, and they had done like a tribute earlier, and you don't see this on TV, but they did a tribute to like the different conferences, and it was just laid out like kind of like small paint, you didn't see it big. But when Renegade saw the dedicated part to SEC, he squats and takes a dump on it, and you guys turned that into the horse fell thing. There's a story behind it. The horse has never fallen. Renegade never falls. He never makes a mistake.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, he gets distracted when he sees anything that says SEC, and I don't blame him for that. But you do remember what happened in that game. We absolutely destroyed Michigan, as you know, we always do. I don't know. Did we ever lose a bowl game? I'd have to go back and look at it.
I'll be honest. I only remember the guy falling part.
The guy fell too.
That's about it.
I don't know. I think he did like a fancy dismount that looked like a fall. You know,
I could have sworn.
Like if a cheerleader does a flip, she didn't fall, she flipped.
I could have swore he fell.
I'll go back and watch it. But it does hurt when you reenact that. You should get some new material. You need to quit pulling it. Well, all your highlights I've noticed are from the Taggart era, like the playing of the guitar. Like what kind of disgusting sportsmanship is that to be playing with his leg? You know. But I do understand, though, you having to use those highlights because there will be no highlights with Mike Norvell. So I would definitely go back and get as much old footage that I could from the 50s and 60s that I could because we have found the GOAT. I mean,
the GOAT.
Yeah. Now, granted, yes, because what they say, like with Georgia, they've had their fun run for the last 3 or 4 years. But besides that, I was born in '82. They've been average at best. But now I'll give you this: with Alabama, Nick Saban, undoubtedly, you'd be crazy. You have to put fandom aside that you like or don't like Alabama, like or don't like Nick Saban. When it comes down to it, just admit it. He was the greatest. I mean, the greatest cheater of all time. But I'm talking about clean wins. I'm talking about the Bobby Bowden type wins. Mike Norvell will be the next biggest thing.
Interesting. How can he be the next biggest thing if he continues to lose to Miami starting this year, then next year, then the year after that? Can he still be the greatest thing? And
I'll tell you what we'll do. You just said 3, right? You said this year. There. If he ever consecutively can lose 3, I'm talking about 1, 2, 3 in a row.
Okay.
How about I give you $10,000, Coop? If you can beat Mike Norvell 3 times in a row, $10,000. Mark it down. Mike is unstoppable. I don't care how you did it. Even if y'all drugged him or the team was sick or like we were when we lost to Florida in the national championship, they all had food poisoning. You're not going to beat Mike Norvell 3 years in a row. He came into a program and we handed him chicken poo and he made chicken salad with it and even more. And if he can win and he's unstoppable with less talent, what's going to happen now that all these recruits are coming in when he gets his guy? Right now he's settling, and no disrespect to any of the players. They're outstanding, but we had a certain tier of talent we weren't getting anymore that we were used to getting. Mike's going to get that again. And I'm telling you, he is going to be dangerous. There is a reason he said no to Alabama, because he's going to create something greater than Alabama. And if he doesn't, I will break out my checkbook and I will be the official sponsor. You will have to open up the Coach Coop show as Joel Davis, the official sponsor of the show, because I've given so much money.
I want cash, no checks.
I will put, if you can beat Mike Norvell 3 years in a row, I'll include you in my will. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, he's supernatural.
You guys saw it. We shook on this. It's official.
It's official. I will put you in my will, and I'll send you a copy of the will to show it on your show, that part of the proceeds that are left behind if I go before you. And the only reason I think that you would go before me is because what Mike Norvell is about to do to the Miami University, because y'all are stuck with Mario. You're stuck with him because he's alumni. And you're going to have trouble getting rid of him because he's one of the good old boys and he recruits good. So I'm just saying, y'all are going to let him hang around longer than probably he should. So, while Billy Napier's probably going to say goodbye this year, the Mario, they're probably going to give him, he'll probably get 6-7 years before they realize, okay, we can't do this anymore.
So I've always wanted to ask this question.
I know what it is, too. I know what you're about to ask. I'm not a mind reader, but what you're going to ask is, it's at the end of the phrase, you go, you got to do it 3 stages. That's, some people mess that up, they do 2. So if that was your question, it's 3 uhs that leads into the next series of the war chant.
All right, my real question.
Okay.
If Florida State fans spend the entire offseason talking about how bad Miami is, they're going to be trash.
In my defense, I didn't do that. I didn't say not try, but yeah, okay, okay.
But a very large portion of the Florida State fan base is, right?
I'm not hearing that, but now you get to talk to thousands of people. When I talk to people, we are a little concerned about the whole Cam Ward thing.
I'm seeing a massive number of Florida State fans just dog Miami, talking about just how horrible this football team is going to be this year, saying Miami might win. They'll be lucky to win 7 again. They think they might
Miami
go back
will win 10 wins. You can
6.
mark it down. They are going to have a 10-win season.
So maybe it's not fair to ask you this question, because then what I was going to say is, if Florida State does in fact lose to a really bad trash Miami team, how bad would that make Florida State then? Well, wouldn't you want to hype up the team? Wouldn't you want to be like, we beat, it won't happen, but like, we beat a good Miami team? Because then if you talk about how trash they are, then you lose to them, you're below trash at that point.
It is pretty dumb to do that. And also, you can't base past years of what you've seen. They did that with Willie Taggart. I wore a Florida State jersey to a Jacksonville Jaguar game because my Jags hoodie got left behind. And everyone immediately was talking about how trash they were and they're this. And I'm like, you're basing us off what things were. Miami is getting back. Whether they, granted, I don't see like the pinnacle greatness.
What was that again? What was that again, Joe?
I don't think they're going to get back to
the part before that.
I don't know. What did I say? Well, I said so much stuff. I don't know. I'm kind of having a steak hangover.
You said that Miami is getting.
They are getting back to where it's prominence, and they're going to upset teams that people wouldn't think they would beat. That's coming. They will win 10 wins. You can mark it down. And even if Cam Ward breaks his leg in practice, I don't think people realize the changes that have happened there. I only know because I got hooked on your show. I would probably be the fan saying y'all are trash too. That's the advantage of watching the Coach Coop show. You won't sound so silly.
I did not ask him to play my show,
I'm an informed Rivalry fan. I know what's coming. When I say the Gators are trash, I literally mean it. That's one of the things that kept us out of the playoffs. Beating Florida meant nothing. Florida's in trouble in every area, and they're going to have to start completely over. And Miami and Florida State both have learned the hard way to appreciate it when you got it, and it's a process to get there. And if you're going to be impatient, then you're going to just keep shifting through, different coaches. But Miami, you're nuts if you think Miami's not going to win 10 wins this year. And not to dish y'all now, the schedule I've seen, that's putrid. That's part of it. That's the only part of it. But yes, the combination of Miami getting better and adding the quarterback. What would have happened this year if it wasn't TVD? No dish to him. I hope he does great at Wisconsin. But I don't think he's the. Sometimes it's not even the quarterback. Sometimes it's are they the right fit. I just think you got the wrong quarterback at the wrong school. He may go to Wisconsin and light it up. I don't know. Stranger things have happened. But now that they have him with that O-line, I don't know what Miami's defense is going to be like. I don't keep up with it like that. But even if it wasn't, it don't have to be great. If you have that kind of offense, it could just be good. And I don't look at the schedule. If somebody thinks they're going to lose 5-6 games, please point it out to me because I don't see it.
The one thing with Miami that you can pretty much take to the bank is they are going to lose one game that they shouldn't. An game.
Right.
I hope that changes this year, but it almost always seems to be the case. Or I've got PTSD from that. There's always there's a Georgia Tech, there's a Middle Tennessee, there's some game that we dropped that we're not supposed to.
Well, in y'all's defense, the Middle Tennessee State don't count because that coach was alumni at Florida State, so technically that was like a loss to Florida State. That's why I hate when Manny plays, y'all. I hate to be mean, but Duke is going to put on a show. Manny will live or die by that game. That will be his national championship game to prove a point. You've got to try to show that fan base I wasn't the problem, whether you were or not.
No, you're
your
not wrong
ego
there.
Alone. That man will train for that like Rocky did when he was going to fight Drago. And if you don't get that reference, you can get off here. But he is going to give it his. I would be stunned if Manny loses that game.
I almost feel like this is a stretch. This is extreme. I feel like Manny could only win 2 or 3 games this coming up season, and he would still be somewhat content as long as one of the dubs was Miami.
Yes,
I'm not saying that's all he's going to win.
Right.
But think, it's year one, so expectations are relatively low. It's Duke. I know they were doing some things, but you bring in a new head coach, new surrounding cast, reset those expectations. He just wants to beat Miami. Because like you said, Miami did do Manny a little dirty. I've talked openly about that and been honest about it.
He's Florida State alumni too, isn't he? Look how many great coaches there are in the.
So this is what I actually think we should talk about now that we're 14 minutes in. We might reverse this. Maybe I'll plug this in at the beginning.
You can edit
was talking about the Miami versus Florida State matchup this season, and it is way too early. Miami just kicked off spring practice the other day. Florida State hasn't even started yet. What are we feeling for? I'm not looking for predictions. That's impossible. But you got Cam versus DJ, the 2 transfer portal QBs facing off. It's year 3 for Mario Cristobal. What year will this be for Mike? This will be.
I don't think you count the first year, dude. It was COVID, so technically.
Some people count it. Some people don't. The COVID year was weird. I'll give you that. That was definitely weird. But it's gonna be at Hard Rock. It's divisionless ACC now. Florida State coming off of undefeated regular season, winning the ACC. We could talk about beyond that, but I don't know if
and I truly believe Florida State wins it again. I'd be stunned if we don't win the ACC championship. Absolutely stunned.
Like this year.
This year, yes. DJ is going to come out with a chip on his shoulder towards Clemson. I only watched him at Oregon State because it was a phenomenon to me that people talk about Mario being a quarterback killer. I really don't get where that came from. I watched your take on that. I agree with you. I don't think he is. I think there's a perception. I kind of see where people are coming from, but I think if you really look into it, you can't come to that conclusion. I truly do believe that Dabo is a quarterback killer because everything that's ever come through there, unless they're a Trevor Lawrence, all the way back to like 2010, he made good quarterbacks to me look bad, and he's doing it again with Clubman. That guy's got to be more talented than what we're seeing. The guy in every game, the game he played you guys, that mistake he made on that play call cost him the game. Yep. Same with us. We may not win overtime if he doesn't make the same mistake that he made with you guys. All I'm saying is when DJ left, though, when I watched him because of that, to ask the question, is it him or is it him? I thought he looked great. And if you can look great at Oregon State, no offense to my Beavers out there, but I really think he comes in to prove a point and lights it up. Jordan Travis, everyone goes, y'all were nothing without him. Everyone was saying, no offense to y'all Miami fans, y'all were saying that we had a trash quarterback who could only run. And then you say Mike can't develop people. Well, apparently he did because he took your trash, can't even throw the ball, only runs, and turned him into a Heisman candidate. So what's he going to do with a more naturally gifted guy like DJ with this much experience? A bigger arm, bigger body guy, can run with the ball. I think they do. I probably made too much of a point there, but
Well, no, and to be fair, I in some other video I posted with Joel, and I've said it even before I was posting any videos with Joel. I've been very open with saying, again, I think DJ is a great fit at Florida State. Like, I think he'll excel. I think he'll look really good. I think he'll do well. But you got to admit, you're a little intimidated by the Cam Ward Miami combo behind the O-line with the weapons on the outside. If Miami's running backs are healthy like that, the offense has potential to be dangerous.
I'm probably telling my age here, but did you ever watch Power Rangers?
Oh, yeah.
They had their own droids. The droids were cool, but there's only so much they could do. When you put the droids together is when you had the Mega Droid thing that they would make. Weird analogy there going about my childhood. But again, if you go Cam Ward, I'm like, it's okay. We'll be fine. Miami's O-line by itself, we're fine. But that's the only reason I didn't want him to go there. Because, again, going back and watching tape, only because, like, why would I care about Washington State? I just love college football. Going back and just watching that, I just, no offense, but it was Washington State. It was their O-line. And he, like you said, he had to play Superman every game. He's not going to have to do that outside of you guys making him out to be the savior of the world. I don't think he's going to have that kind of pressure on him game time to have to do everything himself, because I don't know Miami's defense. But even, like I said, if it's good, just good or average, it's going to take the pressure off him to have to do everything himself. And he's freakish when he's got time, and I don't think there's an O-line anywhere in the country better than Miami's O-line. And it is a scary I think the Florida State-Miami game could possibly be, and again, it's early, could be one of the biggest scoring games, what the final score is collectively. There's been one time where we were at Hard Rock, you guys killed us by like 40. Then we turn around and do the 45-3. There's been big scoring, but I'm talking about both teams putting up big numbers, and almost comes down to who has the ball last determines who wins that game.
Because the number one argument Canes fans are going to make is Miami hung with Florida State we were playing a freshman quarterback.
Now, our defense in that would be, if you go back and watch that game, I really think Florida State dominated that game. Now, it was kind of like when I used to play PlayStation back in the day. Again, I'm telling my age, the original PlayStation, it was not as detailed. So you would hit 4 vertical straight and you'd bomb it. If you were like trying to build Troy to be a big team, like Troy versus Michigan, you'd bomb it to O. You'd hit O every time, same play. I think they got away with some of those things. I think the Florida State secondary is going to be scary this year. I think there's going to be amazing defensive back talent. I don't know so much with safety, but like corners, I don't know that but again, when you give a guy that kind of talent, that much time, he can burn you. So I do think it could come down to one of the biggest scoring games. But granted, I mean, Miami, hats off to the guy that admitted his name just left me, but I even remember saw him play in a high school game one time. But hats off to go in your first game, to go into Doak and put all that kind of performance, and how gutsy there at the end. I can't stand when people make jokes about somebody getting hurt. They did that with Jordan Travis, joke about Brady. I don't want anybody getting hurt, especially when you play with that kind of heart. Everything inside of him, more than his arm hurting, his heart's hurting. Because when you play like that and you have that final drive, you're lying if you say the people in that stadium were not nervous about him having on that final drive. What would have happened?
I always say I like when Miami plays teams and the other team is 100%. That way there's no excuses, right? Like when Miami and Florida State face off this season, obviously this goes without saying, I hope Cam Ward is healthy and everyone on Miami's side. But I hope that DJ's 100%, because I don't want to see DJ. He sprained his ankle last week, so he couldn't scramble like he wanted to, or plug in excuse, whatever it is, generic. So I always hope that teams are healthy. But what'd be really cool?
What's that?
A Miami versus Florida State ACC championship.
Now when they first said Miami was going into the conference, maybe because I grew up in the 90s, you thought those were the two schools every year that were going to face off. I don't think anybody could have imagined the way it was. But you see it trending in that direction, and all of a sudden the recruits that were going to Clemson, Georgia, and Alabama, they're finally coming home. I want them to stay home either way. And again, I want Miami to be good. I don't know why anybody would not want both those teams to be good. I mean, that was the highlight of college football together. When Florida State was at its best, Miami at its best, there was no better performance to watch, including NFL, than those two teams locking horns back in the day before y'all got caught cheating. You know, I don't even mean to bring that up, but let's be honest. In the '90s, Miami and Alabama was as crooked as Uncle Lou's eyes. But still, you know, I would like to see them get back to profits. Now, Florida, no. I hate the Gators. I want them to lose every game.
We all hate Napier.
And they're so annoying. The only way you can get an ex-Florida Gator football player off your porch is to pay him for the pizza. It's the only way to get rid of that joker. But sorry, I had to throw that one in there.
Well said.
But again, I hope, I don't care how much Miami, you know, because the thing is, I think Florida State was scared that if Miami unloads on Florida in that first game, they joke about the hype. But I think every fan base does that. Everybody gets the whole we're going all the way, you know, right off the bat. But I truly want Miami to go in and embarrass them. I want Billy to be fired at halftime for that game. For the first, I will be throwing up the U. Believe it or not, I will be actually doing this when y'all play the Gators. I won't be turning it upside down. When y'all play Florida, I am as hardcore orange, green, whatever technically that color is. I will be all Miami when y'all play Florida. I may go to that game. If we're playing, I may skip our game against whoever. I think we're going to Ireland or whatever to crush the Yellow Jackets. I mean, how embarrassing would that be if you lost to Georgia Tech? But I would skip the Ireland game, and I may go to Gainesville just to watch you guys. I truly believe Cam Ward is going to put on. I mean, again, it's college football. Who knows? But I look for Miami to win 40 points in that game.
Versus Florida State, right? That's who we were talking about?
We're talking about the Gators. We're talking about the opening game.
Oh, the Gators.
Yeah, I hate what's going to happen when you guys... Seriously, I feel bad. I want children to look away from the screen. I don't, you know... All of our highlights of crushing people and breaking them half are in Miami. Like, you know... maybe we can get some other highlights of hitting somebody else hard, but...
You know what? I'm a pretty humble guy. So I'm just going to say Miami-Florida State game should be a good game.
They're a good game.
Should be a good game.
I truly believe high scoring. If you like offense, I think you're really going to see some. I'll say that the final score will be 3-6, but I just have a funny feeling that if those quarterbacks are healthy and they enter in with those schemes, I do believe Mike Norvell is an absolute genius on drawing up offense, fitting it to the player and changing it to what he's going to score to me. I mean, he's scoring 30, 40 points when we had nobody. What's he going to do, like I said, when he gets his guys? Luke Kromenhoek is a freak of nature. You guys should pray to the good Lord above that guy somehow decides to transfer, or maybe Tennessee offers him a McDonald's bag or whatever it was they were giving out here in Knoxville.
They were, yeah.
But
just down the street from here. Literally, just down the street from here.
But Luke is going to shake the world. He will win the Heisman Trophy. If Luke Kromenhoek doesn't win the Heisman Trophy, I'll give you $1,000.
Wow, that confident.
Now barring like injuries and stuff.
Oh,
if he plays a full season, how many seasons he does, and he stays our starting quarterback, and I don't know, my God, tomorrow he may decide he wants to go somewhere else. If he stays with us, he's our starting quarterback, plays those years and goes on and does not win the Heisman, $1,000, document it, write that down, and you choose the form of bills, whatever you want. And
cash, $1 bills.
Luke is going to make Trevor Lawrence look like a complete newbie. He is going to light it up. He has the body. He has the arm. He sees the field. He's got the vision. I like Brock Glenn. I mean, everybody wants to dish him over. You know, he's just getting. You know, he just got started and everything. And hopefully they're not watching this. I ain't trying to make anybody feel bad or look bad. And Brock may very well be the starter after DJ, but I'm telling you, when Luke gets his time to shine, you're going to really see something. And look at all the cool names. Uglagale and Kromenhoek and all this. And you got Ward. You know what I mean? Like, do y'all ever wish you had a cool name guy?
We have Okunlola, Maui Noah.
But see, it's not fair. No one knows these guys because they don't, you know, they have to do something significant on the field for us to know their names, you know.
And we used to have multiple sets of brothers. We had the Brown brothers. We still have the Maui-Noah brothers. We had 3 or 4 sets of brothers on the team.
Did they start? I just don't remember that. I don't remember names like that.
There were times when the Brown brothers were both on the field. It was here and there.
That's a real. I don't mean to offend anybody. That's gotta hurt if you don't start at Miami. Yikes. Who was the guys on the last play when Georgia Tech scored and Miami had one final play to pitch it? Who was those two guys that was blocking for the guy that had the ball?
I don't want to talk about it.
Block somebody. Get hands on somebody.
What game?
I'm sorry that I like watching you melt down. That was, I tell you, man, that was quite a night. I enjoyed all the talk of everyone talking about, I'd rather take an ugly win. There's all this, but you said it. You called it. You said a game is not over. You're like, it's not over. But you made the comment even before that happened. With Georgia, with Miami driving with the ball.
With
Remember,
Miami,
you
the
said
game is never over. And I mean it. It goes both ways, Joel. Both ways. If Miami, look, in my live streams, Miami will be up by 28 points with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and I say, it ain't over. It ain't over yet. Not till that clock is at 0. And we're celebrating. And that's me just being real and honest.
Well, see, we have the luxury as well, I say, normal fans that don't do what you do. I can say something goofy for the most part. People forget I even said it. You're stuck. When you say something, I mean, you've got the pressure.
Is forever.
Yeah, and everyone who hates Miami is coming for you. And I kept thinking it was crazy that you wouldn't, like, joking. When you kept talking about you wouldn't say go Noles, and you said don't take this out of context with that. And then it dawned on me. I'm like, you know, he's got the tough job because people can clip any image and any statement you make and run with it. But
I can say go Canes and then 5 minutes later mention the Noles and someone will clip them and put it together and make it look like I said that. So yes, I have to be very careful. People even pick at me if I wear colors that aren't Miami related. Like it gets deep. So I just wanted to say that we both feel like it's going to be a good game. Miami and Florida State.
It's going to be a good game, and they will play twice.
And that's
based on what I see from the other teams, and I'm not being a super fan here. I have no reason to say anything positive about Miami for sure, but I think Clemson is trending downward. I think
we agree that Dabo is being a little slow with his let's not attack the transfer portal approach. Like
yes.
This is
I cannot thank him enough for that old-fashioned, I refuse to change. If it's not broke, don't fix it. But that approach may well have cost him the dominance of his program. And you and I, like I said, we learned the hard way. It's hard to get it back once it's gone. And I'd honestly be completely stunned if this isn't the first year that they play twice. And again, like you said, how freakish with the playoff system. If they have the wins, you can lose the championship. Let's say one wins the regular season, one wins the ACC championship. You could see the two teams a third time play. Now that would be cool. And I don't care what fan base you're a part of, if you don't want to see that, then
that would be insane. It's not you say. It would be awesome. It would for the game to carry that much weight, for these those two teams to push and be at the top and get to play multiple times like that. It would be huge. It'd be really cool.
Well, let's see if we can hold you to something while you're on camera. If they make the ACC championship, doesn't matter if Florida State or Miami won. If they make it to the ACC championship, will you go with me if I have the tickets for you to go? Because you chickened out on me in Charlotte. I mean, we showed you how to deal with Louisville, and we did it without any offense.
Now, the last time, you have to remember, the last time I went to an ACC championship game was Miami versus Clemson, 2017, Bank of America Stadium.
Yeah, it was Beverly Hills 90210, Miami 3.
Yeah. So, I don't have the fondest memories of attending ACC championship games. However, we'll see.
We'll see. We'll think on it. We got plenty of time to think about it. Right now, we have the luxury of being in super fan mode where we both believe we're going to win it all this year. That's the greatest feeling every year, is that optimism.
Now, I will say, I'm being real. This gets into a whole nother topic. I'm leaning for Miami like 9-ish wins.
Who's the losses? I mean, no Florida State. I'm not being mean. We know Florida State. No. We know DJ is going to put on a show in front of dozens of Miami fans. But besides that game, honestly, like, I've looked at the schedule. Who are you looking at that's going to beat y'all?
Hear me out. This isn't negative, Coop.
I'm trying to count them off here.
No. Hey, look, we do this every year as Miami fans. I can go through our schedule and give you a reason as to why we will win every single game on it. And I could have did it last year, the year before that, and it just keeps going. I'm gonna be real. I am in that crowd of the cautiously optimistic. Wait and see. I predicted 7-5 last season. Miami went 7-5, so I expect them to take another step. But I think I have too much PTSD. I don't know if that's even the right word
I get it.
to believe that Miami can take a big leap. For me to believe that Miami could go undefeated, I literally have to see it. I don't think for the rest of my life I could predict an undefeated season. Like, there's no way. Like, the chances of going undefeated is so slim, which is why I talk about. I understand the frustration.
Let's say let's throw out the Florida State game. Well, seriously, what game stands out to you on that scale? Let's say Duke. Let's say Manny, just somehow just does something supernatural because of his rage and his inner will to prove that he is greater than you shouldn't have got rid of it. Give those two games. I don't see. I looked at the schedule.
Is a Florida State fan actually trying to talk me into giving Miami more wins than I'm willing to give them?
I'm just saying, Florida ain't going to beat you.
Miami
is
plays...
Florida A&M going to beat you? Is
No.
Bethune-Cookman going to beat you? I don't know the rest of y'all's schedule because they've changed it up so much.
We play not in order. We play Florida. We play FAMU.
Win.
We play Cal at Cal.
Win.
Okay. We play Georgia Tech again.
That was a fluke. I mean, I enjoyed it as a Florida State fan. There's no way Georgia Tech pulls that off. Granted, he's making strides there. Georgia Tech is looking better, but really, I mean, y'all know, the whole world knows you shouldn't have lost that game. It happens. We shouldn't have lost to Jacksonville State.
An L is an L, but Miami could have.
Lightning's not striking twice. Yeah. Mark it down.
But now, to be fair, Miami does dodge UNC this season. No Clemson. I'm just gonna be real with you.
Did y'all ever beat Mac Brown? I hate to get off the topic. Did y'all ever beat Mac? Ever?
I can't.
That would haunt me. I would want North Carolina on the schedule before he's gone. I'm saying this is last year. Yeah,
he's about to hit the retirement home, so I would like to get a win over Mac Brown so bad.
We love you, Mac.
Bad.
Don't hold that against us.
No, we don't. I don't. Maybe Joel does. I don't.
We beat him every time, and he's Florida State alumni. Why are all these great coaches? Why is everything great coming out of Florida State? I don't like that. It's not fun to win every time and win everything. I want to share. I want to spread it around, But if I look at that schedule, I seriously just don't see.
So here's my approach. 9 wins. I remain conservative and cautiously optimistic, but also real, and hope to be pleasantly surprised and we hit double-digit wins. But it's been far too long that even when it feels like we're starting to get all the puzzle pieces together, I just still that that jump to double-digit wins.
But when's the last time you had a quarterback come in? We're used to this new world now. Instead of waiting on a freshman you think's got potential, you just you landed the guy that everybody's trying to get. You know what I mean?
And it's true, but he's taken some snaps in the practice jersey in one day of spring. So, I love Cam Ward. I think he can be great.
I saw the video, but it scared me. It looked like he was glowing when I watched the video. I don't know if that was the effect the camera did, but yeah, it looks like there's something special there. I mean, beyond again, I ain't trying to trash TVD. Maybe he'll go. I'd love for him to go to Wisconsin and do great, but it's just. I don't, unless, like I said, anything could happen in college football, but the Cam Ward combo, look at the difference. Change out last year and put Cam in. What's the win-loss? I think it's pretty scary if you.
Yeah.
I know one man can't carry it all, but.
No, I've said before, TVD was cooked mentally. It's very tough. I'm not even going to make excuses for him because he was family. He was a Miami Hurricane.
Right.
But when you have that many offensive coordinators and quarterbacks, coaches, and head coaches and stuff, and dealing with multiple injuries across several seasons, it's very hard to succeed in that type of environment.
Right.
So it's understandable. But and you even just said it. you can't really put it all on one person, but I do believe there are several games you can dissect and put a large portion of the blame on Tyler Van Dyke.
Right.
As in, he pretty much lost us the game.
Right.
So, I mean, I see what you're getting at.
Look when he was on, like the Boston College game. I don't know if you remember my prediction, but I said there's no way you go in that atmosphere in the cold in Boston College. They're not going to be motivated. TVD, look, I mean, he weren't like Heisman, but he clean, crisp passes, good decisions, and look what you did to Boston College. You see what I'm saying? A team that almost beat us. So, you know, you're right. If you clean that up, what would have the win-loss record been for Miami? So I think they're a sneaky team this year. For people who have said, oh, you know, the U's never going to be back. They say all this stuff. If you're not careful, you can't judge the past, whatever years you're basing off of. This is a different situation. And again, you know, when we didn't have the technology of Bleacher Report and shows like yours, you didn't know. You know, you base it off what you saw the past few years. But spending time watching your show, looking into it, the whole thing, you know, keep your friends closer, enemies closer. Watching Miami, they have fixed a lot of things, and I don't know how many people realize that, but they're about to, because they're about to go into Gainesville and make a statement.
I don't want Canes fans to think that I'm just being like overly negative.
Right.
It's not that.
Right,
it's just my approach is, let's be realistic about it. History says this, but then also look at the facts at what's going on currently. And yeah, again, like I said, there's a little bit of being a Canes fan over the years, PTSD of there's no way I could commit to double-digit wins, but I'll probably end up being somewhere around 9. And again, just really looking forward to the Florida State matchup.
I believe it will be one for the ages. I think if they're both healthy going into that game, when they throw out the stats of the passing yards for both teams, I think it could be record-breaking.
And that's what they're going to hype it up as.
Right.
Cam versus DJ.
Right.
Transfer portal QBs. I mean, it's going to be big.
The viewership will be off the chart, and both fan bases should appreciate that at least we're back to being talked about like we deserve. These two programs, I don't care what anybody says, it doesn't get any better than that throughout. If you're going to calculate, go back from the late 80s when I started watching up to this time, again, I think that rivalry makes a joke out of the Iron Bowl. Sorry to all the people that just spit up their Copenhagen and punch their cousin, wife, whatever but I just think that rivalry, and like I said, the rivalry with the Gators I think is a good rivalry, but I don't know. Maybe I'm biased because I grew up in the 90s watching. There was never any more hype than there was. There was more hype for me with Florida State Miami than when there was your bowl game or even national championship. I think Miami feels that way. You guys come out and I think you treat it like it is the championship. I don't know why y'all do that. Y'all will play so sloppy against other teams, and when y'all come out against us, we always get 110%. I don't know how you get that.
You do.
I don't know how you get that hyped. You know, again, I'll give credit where credit's due. You go into dope, with and all of a sudden you change a quarterback to, was he a freshman, I think, at the time?
It was his second start.
Yeah, and you hold your own like that. I mean, it's pretty scary what Miami does when I don't know why. It's definitely a big deal to the players, obviously. So I think if you go back in time and start looking at highlights and great moments, even the ones that hurt me, the wide right, left, all this nonsense, I think it's one of the greatest stories you tell when you talk about two teams playing one another.
So, Joe, you can do your this. We're gonna title this video.
Just tell me this
a Miami fan and Florida State fan. I don't know. What do we title this?
It's kind of some kind of common ground.
Florida State fan tries to talk Miami fan into predicting more wins.
There you go. I try to convince you. Yes, it took a Florida State fan to bring Coop out of this haze and this pessimism and negativity that was hurting all of your listeners, and it brought you back to super fan mode where you can say, dadgummit, I think we win it all this year.
If a Florida State fan believes, I should believe.
How about this? They will be undefeated when they play each other. That Duke thing I think is going to be like Manny. I think right now it's on the board drawing up stuff. I don't know when that game is. I don't know y'all's schedule. That's the only iffy. That's the trap game I would call it. But outside of that, if it's not, I don't see when the two teams aren't undefeated when they play one another. Again, Crow may go back and watch this, and people have a billion comments on how dumb my prediction was. But again, I'm not an expert like you. I get to be the super fan on the side that just gets to say what I think. But I think I do wish the Florida State people, I have had I don't hear as much people I talk to, but I read it in the comment section about your trash or this, which I know it's just people going back and forth. But they need to be careful because I'm telling you, it's not the same Miami team. When's the last time they had a quarterback? Testaverde, I think, was the last time I saw this kind of talent at quarterback for I'm telling you, it's all the right pieces are coming together for Miami. So for these people that keep running your mouth about your try, I think you need to kind of be cautious about all the. Don't get carried away like me and start making a crazy bunch of bets.
Trash talk is fun, but I'm telling you, it can backfire when you trash a team so heavily and then lose to said trash team. It can be bad. But Joe, if you want to end with one of these, you can. It's up to you.
Be honest, when you look out, and you're going to see it at the Doak Takeover, when you see those arms, deep down you're like, man, I wish Miami had something that the whole crowd could do.
No, not really. No.
You're telling me there's nothing in. You can't be honest and say, can we do? How about this? How about a positive comment from Florida State to Miami? Something that I like that I go, that's cool. And then you can be honest, and you can even edit this out. If you look back later and go, this could backfire on me. There has to be something you go, daggum, had a horse on the field with a flaming spear. That's cool. Or the chant. Like, that chant never gets old. It is cool.
You never get tired of doing that.
I get tired of the Braves stealing it and the Chiefs stealing it. It was ours first, No, I do it on the way to the game. I listen to it when I go to sleep. I don't think you can get tired of it, If it's great and it's a classic, have you ever been to church and someone's like, I'm tired of singing Amazing Grace? No, it's just some things that never change.
You know what's kind of cool for us? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I said that the chant, the chop, when you look across the stadium, and I'm not being mean, you're not used to seeing people all over, but when we fill a stadium up and you see all the arms in sync doing that, there's not a party, it's like, this is kind of cool. You don't think it sends a chill down the spine of an opposing team that's in the locker room when the stadium, you hear it echoing?
Now, maybe that.
All right.
Do I think it's cool? I'll say this. You have some pretty cool alternate uniforms. Those blue ones? You seen those blue ones? Those are kind of fire. Those blue.
You're being sarcastic, aren't you?
No.
You're being sarcastic. I can sense it.
100%.
Everyone hates those jerseys. Everybody hates them.
My first impression, as soon as I saw those pop up on Twitter, I was like, I can't believe I'm saying this, but dang, those actually look kind of cool.
You're being serious.
1,000%. As in, I hope you don't break those out. Well, it's at Hard Rock, so you wouldn't rock an alternate uni. But I hope Florida State never wears those against Miami because I feel like you'd be so hyped up that it'd be bad.
We would lose a lot of booster support probably if that happened.
I'm being real.
There's a crazy reaction to them. I don't mind some basketball.
Florida State fans don't like the blue.
the blue and garnet. That's like orange and green. It's kind of a weird combo.
I'm trying to compliment.
Because I know you're being sarcastic.
I'm not.
You're going to make a video about how stupid those jerseys look.
I'm not.
I'm going to flip on there on the way home, and Coop has made, look how stupid the Knowles look with their, and I get the sentiment of it. I love the relationship with the Seminole tribe. I have no problem with the color itself, but it is weird when you start trying, like when you do garnet on garnet, they say the players love it, and my God, if they want to wear pink, I could care less if they're winning. But we look like Boston College when we're garnet. There's some things I don't think you have to fix, like, Notre Dame's jerseys. Yeah, it's plain, but
it's just alternate. It's like a one-time thing. Like
maybe when we play somebody, I don't know. I'd have to look at the schedule again. I don't even remember who's coming in. I made a joke about North Alabama, and they jumped on us 14-0. But I don't even remember what our no-name schedule is this year. Maybe for one of those. I don't. But I hope. I wish they would stop.
I think you're missing out.
Be honest. Those gold pants. Now, I'm not talking about when they changed it, made it yellow looking. Those gold pants with that garnet jersey and that garnet helmet. It's unique. It's bad to the bone. You look at it, and to me, and I know everybody's going to say you're a super fan, that's the best looking jerseys in college football.
In
In the world of any sport, of any combination, anywhere, the garnet and gold when it's done right, the right colors, and we don't, again, we got kind of weird, got a little yellow in the pants. Gold pants, garnet top, gold, there's just nothing to match it. There's nothing you can do.
I think the alternate blue ones should become regular. Like, wear them every home game.
I know you're going to
game.
come out with a video mocking me is what's going to
Nope.
happen.
Nope.
But here's the thing. I will give Miami this compliment. And again, maybe I go so far back, but they were the first to, I wouldn't say like, everyone plays quote with attitude. They were the first to really like kind of have like the bad boy, like rebel, you know, we're going to do it our way whether you like it or not kind of thing. And it did kind of set them apart from other teams. And they did have, you know, especially back in the day, man, they had some guys that, like the hard-hitting type stuff. I mean, they made some highlight reels. When they step off that plane, and I was really young when it happened, with the camouflage, like the whole, like, we're going to war.
It was pretty cool.
It was. And I know people get, you know, they say over top with the celebration, but it almost like made them it was almost like when Trump had the mug shot. They said he got more support from the mug shot.
Yeah.
When Miami started doing the over-the-top celebrations, you could sit there as a opposing fan of the rivalry and go, you know, how trashy that is, how stupid that is. But deep down, you're like, yeah, they're bad to the bone. If you knew when you played Miami, they were coming with attitude, and you were not just going to, and, you know, I think you may start to kind of, again, when they get the right guys back in, cut off the pipeline. You know, hate to break Aunt Lou's heart, but Georgia's about to go back to being what they were, and that's just above average. Bama, who knows? You know, I've been praying a long time for Saban to either quit or get hit by a bus or something. But now that he's gone, I'm hoping, what I wouldn't give for that fan base, just to go back to being average again.
Oh, it'd be great.
And already Clemson is starting to look like the Clemson we knew, to where, yeah, they're going to have a win schedule, but they're not a real threat.
Right. Yeah.
I would love to see Florida State, Miami. They need to get out of the ACC. I don't care if we go to the SEC and prove a point that I know that they would prove. We go to the Big Ten, Sun Belt, whatever we need to do. I'd like to see us in the same conference, dominating again. We need to take our rightful place. That we can agree on.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
y'all it's going to start this year. You're going to destroy Florida. We're going to destroy Florida. And we're going to make it back to the mountaintop, to where those the two teams that people are talking about was Florida State and Miami. Mark my words, it's coming. We will see it in our time.
I don't think I can end on a better note than that. I appreciate y'all listening to me and Joel rant in the car, in the rain. For almost 50 minutes.
Oh, wow, it doesn't seem like that.
Yeah.
Time flies when you're picking on
When
your
you're
little
hanging
brother.
out with a Miami fan. It's such a good time. You never want it to end.
Notice Coop's not showing his, he has this Miami shirt. I don't mean to tell on him here, but as soon as we went out in public, he quickly buttoned the shirt so that
That's
no
not
one would
why.
see it.
That's
and
not
when
why.
I started talking to the waitress about
That's
garnet
not
and
why.
gold and
I'm
orange
turning
and
the
red,
camera off.
he
I'm turning the camera off.
He hid Imus in
Did
the
not
morning
hide.
the
It was
moment
cold
we
in
walked
there.
in the Texas Roadhouse.
It was cold in there.
You know, I'm never too
And
cold.
you didn't tell them.
If all I had was a Florida
You
State
didn't-
Speedo, I'd have walked in
you
and just
didn't
that.
tell them.
I would not cover it up.
You tried to get the waitress to say the GN phrase, and she
The
was
what?
very hesitant.
GN.
I'm not saying it.
Oh, the Go Knowles thing.
Yeah. And she was like, nah, I don't think I want to do that.
No, here's what happened. I said, because she wasn't paying attention. She didn't even understand the question. She kept trying to give me her phone number like all the waitresses were doing. And I was like, stop and listen to what I'm saying. Say Gold Nose, Garnet, Gold. They weren't even listening to what I was saying. These Tennessee women, my God.
I warned you.
They are.
I did warn you of that.
They are a special type. But
Yeah.
but at least they're not from Tuscaloosa. That's all I can say. Where's Uncle Lou from? I'd make fun of that, but I don't even know where he's from. He probably doesn't know where he's from.
I have no idea.
Uncle Lou's one of those guys that has a face for radio.
On that note, we'll see you guys in the next one.